Hey guys, welcome to M&M Plants. Today's plant is a very special plant, and a lot of people who love indoor plants, they will love this plant to have as their indoor plant, part of their indoor plant collection. It is the Philodendron Brasil, also known as heartleaf philodendron, because the leaf, they simply look beautiful like someone's heart. So let us understand today how easy it is to maintain this plant. There are few tips that I have. If you follow them, this plant will not die, and you can always have that beautiful variegation for which you get these plants from garden centers to your house. Sometimes you lose the variegation, or the leaves will start burning or turning yellow. I'll tell you the reasons why it happens. So number one thing is, this plant, if you look at the variegation on the leaves, the light green and the dark green, a little bit of silver patch, that is because of the light it gets. So I prefer keeping my plants inside the house in winter and outside the house in summer. But when I keep it outside the house in summer, I make sure that it does not get any direct sunlight, not even for 15 minutes. It should not get any direct sunlight. It should only get indirect filtered light. So I keep it under shed where it gets filtered light throughout the day. Because it gets that filtered light throughout the day in summer, the variegation is still there. And in winters, the reason I bring it inside is because it is too cold outside in winters. It goes up to 1 degree, 2 degrees Celsius. And this plant is not that tolerant towards cold because it comes from South America, Brazilian climate. So it loves warm and humid climate and doesn't love cold climate at all. So during winters, if this plant is not kept in a warm, humid climate, it might have pest attacks very easily, especially aphids and mealybugs. So what I normally do is I would take a spray bottle, mix a lot of turmeric powder in it and shake it well, and then give it a good spray at every single leaf, branches, stems, the moss pole that I have. Even there I would spray because the mealybugs can be inside the moss pole as well. In the soil as well, I would sprinkle some turmeric powder because that would save my plant from these pests. So it is important to keep these plants clean and regularly check on them. I would say once in a fortnight, definitely you should check on them. If there is any pest, you should treat them the way I just shared. And watering this plant is important, but again, if you water the plant when the soil is moist or wet, if you leave the plant in wet, soggy soil, then what happens is it will easily develop fungal infection and the plant will die. You will have yellow leaves, the leaves will start falling, and then you'll see eventually the plant dies. So you have to only water the plant when the soil is dry. Otherwise you don't need to water this plant. If you have loved the content so far, do consider subscribing this channel and becoming the part of it, and also hit that like button if you liked the video so far. The next important thing I want to share is regarding the soil. Now, even if you keep your Brazilian philodendron in a normal potting mix, it will not die, but it will not grow as fast as you would expect it to grow, right? So what you can do is you can mix a little bit of bone meal powder during springs and summers, or you can add those slow releasing fertilizer. My preference is adding liquid fertilizer to these plants, especially to pothos plants and to these Brazilian philodendrons. It's just easy to add liquid fertilizer. You don't have to repot, or you don't have to change the soil. So if you don't have a lot of time, just use your normal seaweed fertilizer. Once in a month, give it a good seaweed fertilizer drink mixed in water. Make sure you follow the instruction that you have on the liquid fertilizer bottle, because if you add a lot of fertilizer, that makes the soil very acidic. When soil becomes very acidic, the roots will burn and die. So you have to make sure that soil is acidic but not too acidic. So that balance you can maintain by reading the instructions on the liquid fertilizer bottle and adding the fertilizer only in spring and summers. There is no need of fertilizer in winters, because in winters these plants would not grow no matter how much fertilizer you add. It is waste. because they are dormant, they are sleeping. So you have to be careful of the pest in winters, because that's when these plants don't have the energy to fight against the pest. So you'll have to be a little more careful. But in spring and summer, they are active, they are awake, they can fight easily against the pest. So it is important to add the fertilizer, which is their food, so that they have the energy to fight against the pest and grow as well at the same time during spring and summer. Also, I have seen a lot of people, they plant these plants in very big pots, large pots. It is not needed. The bigger the pot, the more humidity and moisture it would retain for a longer period of time, and the roots will always be surrounded with that soggy soil. So give it a small pot or a medium size pot. There is no need to give it very big, large size pots. All right. And then what you can do is, just before the spring or summer season starts at your place, depending on the climate you have in your country, in the country you live. So for example, in Australia, it is August, almost end of August now, but still it is cold. And that is why I would not prune this plant right now. I would wait for another month, maybe September. I feel it should get a little warmer. I'm expecting that. So that's when I would prune this plant. I would chop the stems a little bit here and there, just because in spring new shoots will come up, because that is the time when this plant wants to grow. So if you have given it a little bit of pruning right before spring or summer, that is when in spring and summer you will see the growth is double. I hope you enjoyed watching this video regarding Brazilian philodendron. They are very pretty, beautiful. Do get them in your garden, because the leaves are so, like, they're vibrant. The variegation is fantastic. And they just do superlatively well when you take care of these few tips that I've just shared. And if there's anything that is particularly bothering you regarding gardening, just make sure that you share it in the comment section below, and I'm more than happy to make videos on those topics. Bye for now.